this is Tina. How are you doing today? In this video, I'm gonna talk about how to do exception handling in a Spring project. And we are still using this Spring Validation XML project. I just add more features on this project and to see how it goes, okay? So let's start. In the user controller, I'm gonna create another method, which is to retrieve the user. Okay. Suppose let's retrieve a user by the. Do I have ID? Oh, I didn't have ID. Let's retrieve user by the name or by the email. Email should be unique, okay? The email we can do like this way: request from required equals false. Value is called email. Okay, and then we're using string email. Okay, this is our retrieve email. Okay, let me make it larger. And then here I will have a get mapping, and which one I'm using slash. How about just using get? Okay, get. Okay, and then here I will make some condition. Okay, if email is empty, dot equals email. Okay, then I will give a default value. Let's give a default value is empty. Default value is empty, okay? If email is not empty, probably here you can go to the service. Service will go to the repository and then to retrieve the user. Here I will just using some hard-coded value, okay? Set name. Let me use the name is Miss xing, and you dot set email. Now using xing. How about that? Okay. And I don't want to set the values for the remaining. I just do like this, and then model dot attribute this user, this you. Okay. And if I want to display information, here actually I have a detail page here. In the success.jsp, it lists all the information about the user. I just use this one instead of create a new one, okay? So here I will using return forward user details, okay? Forward to user details, else. If can't find, I want to throw some exception. And in Java or in Spring, there's no exception called user not found. But here, I want to have a user not found exception. So what I'm gonna do is I create our own exception class. Okay, how to do that? We go back to the here we create another package which is called exception, and then we create another class which is called user not found exception, okay? And here we extend runtime exception. We can give a private string message. Provide your customized message, then we give a customized controller, okay? And probably you can give getter status if you want to retrieve later. Okay, that's it. And we go back here to throw user not found exception. You can give customized because you have your customized construct here. Okay, user not found. And that's it. So the first step is let me run and see if everything works, right? So we go back. Okay, go to redeploy. Excuse me. Deploy successfully, so I'm gonna make a call to the user get. Okay, what's the URL? I have to copy the URL here. This is the URL to access the project user/get. Okay, perfect. So here, when I give /user/get, if I don't have any email, it's gonna display the error, right? So here I don't have email, so you will see the exception, which is user not found, which is thrown here. User not found exception. But if I actually give an email equals something, okay. Oh my god, forward didn't get the user. The reason for that, do you know the reason? Because it forward to the success page, but in the success page, I'm using the key is called save the user. But by default, if I just add attribute u, by default the key gonna be the user. So if I do like this way, you will see miss xing and rxing.mu.edu. Okay, then we go back and let's make a call again, DDD, okay? You can see, yeah, forward to Miss NG and RX, my email, but all other values is empty, it's none, because I didn't set the values for those. And the most important thing for this video is how to resolve the exceptions, right? First thing I want to show you is this is default status code, which is 500, and this is a default message which is resolved by the Tomcat. If you want to change it, how to do that? You can do is customize using response status. Okay, give a value. HTTP status. Let's using bot request. You can using for bot request whatever you want. Reason. Okay. This is a bad request. Okay. And after you do that, you will see the status code and the reason gonna be changed. Okay, let's go back to the browser, and now I make another tab. Okay, this is the previous without change, and after change, perfect. So the status code changed to be 400, and it's gonna be bad request, and the reason is also changed here. This is the default one, which is 500 internal server error, and this is a default error message. And this is after you using response status to change the status code and to change the message. Okay, let's go back to the code. So when using the response status, you can customize the status code. You can also customize the error message, but it's still not good. As a user, some user don't know anything about technology, okay, about the programming. It's really bad to show the user this kind of error page. Okay, we should provide your customized user-friendly error message, properly redirect the user to the next page, how to do, right? This is really bad. Then how to do in the code, which make a user-friendly error page. You have several ways to do that. The first way, using exception handler, you create a method inside your controller, and this method is called handle user not found exception. Okay, and when you annotate this method using exception handler, it can for particular exception throw, it's gonna be handled by this method. And for this method, we only handle for user not found exception. So in this controller, no matter which method, if it throw user not found exception, it's gonna be caught by this method. If you also want to get information about this exception, you can add a parameter here, then Spring gonna inject the value for this E, okay? It's using model and model. And here, what gonna do is I just in the model add an attribute, which is MSG, and the message I was using get message. Sorry, get message. This message is gonna be this message, okay, not this one. And then I return to error page. Okay, so next step is I create an error GSP. And I will have something called this is a customized user-friendly error page. And here I will display MSG, which is want to display this one, okay, error message. And let's run and see the behavior. Okay, good. And go back to the browser, and when I call get again, okay, without email. Perfect. Now it goes to our error.jsp page, right? Which is you customize and show your user-friendly error page. And all the magic happens is because of this exception handler method. Okay, here you in this, when I go to user/get, you throw this exception, and meanwhile this exception and handler is can act as a annotation interceptor, which will catch this exception, okay, and will handle by this method. And in this method, you display the error page. This is one usage of the exception handler, and another thing is, let's give you another example. Suppose in our home controller, okay, in our home controller, you have another method. Public string, how about fake get user, okay? Just to show you the demo, okay? But then it makes sense to put it here, okay? Okay, this one is exception. How about user retrieve? And here I just threw new user not found exception. This is a practice. Okay. So we have two controller. Okay, we have two controller. In user controller, you throw user not found, and in the home controller, when I make call to /user/u2, it also throw user not found. And my exception handler method is inside the user controller. In this case, this exception handler can only handle user not found exception thrown by user controller. It cannot catch or handle exception, user not found exception through inside the home controller. So let me go back to the browser and show you the behavior. Okay, deployed successfully, excuse me. And we will make two calls. The first one is user get. This one is inside the user controller, okay? As we know, it's gonna go to the error page. Then I go to another, which is user retrieve. Okay, this user retrieve is in the home controller. When I click enter, it doesn't go to the error page. It will go have a default, the error page 400, this is bad. Okay, that's the behavior of exception handler, which when you reside, when this handler method is reside in particular controller. Okay, so next step is if I want to have some general exception. Okay, I want this handler method which will handle the exception thrown by all the controller. How to do that? Okay, we have to learn another thing called the ControllerAdvice, global exception handler. Okay, and here I will have a ControllerAdvice method. And in the ControllerAdvice method, suppose here I copy this one. Copy this one and paste in the ControllerAdvice method. In my controller, I comment this one, okay? No handler method. In my home, no handler method. My handler method is in the ControllerAdvice annotated class, and it's gonna be handled for all the user-defined class, not user-defined exceptions through by all the controller class, not only particular user controller. Okay, so let's go back. I go to user get, which is inside the user controller. It's been resolved. Then I go to my user retrieve, which is inside the user controller. See, the message is this is the practice. Okay, and here I say this is practice. So from the behavior you see in the browser, you can see the exception handler put in the ControllerAdvice is gonna be global. Okay, and you can narrow it down using the package. You can using a best packages to make sure it only handle for particular package if you want to narrow down. Okay, so it's your choice. And in general, in this ControllerAdvice, you will have a more specific exception. You will also have general one, like another exception handler, which is a handle for all the exceptions. Okay, more general. If it doesn't match this category, you still have a general one which handle this exception. Handle exception, and you have exception here. Probably you have also model. And return particular, also return to the error page. Okay, you can also do exactly the same thing using M. Okay, why do you need that? Suppose let me show you another scenario. Okay, I comment this one, and do you remember we have here we have a multiple resolver to upload the image. Suppose here I have a property which is a maximum upload size. If I give value is 1024000, this is gonna be limit. Our image is cannot exceed 1 megabytes. Okay. And now if I don't do anything, deploy. I just add this limitation on the size you can upload to our website. Okay. Deployed successfully, and then I will go back and go to the user add, and here give Tina email, birthday, age, role, and suppose this image is exceed 1 megabyte. Okay, and I will choose that one. And the street, state, zip code, add. you will see this exception, which is maximum upload size exceeded exception, because you config is to 1 megabyte, but actually you upload is this one. You upload this one, so it through exception. And sometimes those kind of exception is very hard to predict, right? So we can add a general one, which is exception here. You can do is, if you know the exception, you can give maximum upload size exceed. You can do like this way. Okay, then let me import and rerun. Deploy successfully, and let's do one more time. And add, select the row, and I will choose the same image. Okay, street, state, and zip code. Add. You will go to the user-friendly arrow page. Okay, which you here have the informations. And sometimes you cannot know what kind of exception gonna be through. The better way is you have a more general one, which is like this way. Suppose you don't know this maximum upload exceeded exception, you can have always provide a general one, which is a handle for all the exceptions. Deploy. Okay, I don't have this one. And then go back to the add page. And then using email, birthday, age, read row, and click this image, and street, state, zip code, click add. It is still be handled by the exception, which is a general one. So when you code for your exception in the global advice or in the controller device or in the user controller, it's better you give a specific one, which you handle more special cases, and it always recommend you have a general one. So if you have an exception doesn't located in any of the category here, not in this category, not in this category, eventually you also have one category, okay, also has one exception handler method, which will handle for all kinds of exception. Okay, if it's a more specific one, it's gonna go this more specific handler methods. If not, it will go to here instead of using the default ugly 404 or 500 internal server error, those kind of page to show the user. And one more thing I want to talk about this controller device is in the controller device annotation. Except you can have exception handler method, you can also have a model attribute method. Okay. We talked about if this model attribute inside the controller, right? Which means for all the request mapping method, you're gonna have a channel attribute and the value is misxing, right? But this one is only for particular controller, which is user controller. When this method is inside ControllerAdvice annotated class, this channel gonna be global, which is application wide. So here in my use add, suppose in the error page, how about error page? Here I have another paragraph, which is called the channel name. Okay. In the error page, I have a channel name, channel here. But you can see in my arrow page, this arrow page, or in any other places, I didn't set for the mode attribute, but it's gonna work. And suppose, let's go see another one. In the user controller, I have add form, right? Let me go back to the add form. In the title, here I have another paragraph. Channel name. Channel. In my controller, I didn't set for any attribute is called channel, okay? But you can retrieve it because you add in the controller device, you have an attribute here. So let me run and show you. Deployed successfully. First, let me go to the /add, okay? /add. You see the channel name is here, okay? And now let me using user get. It's gonna go to retrieve the user, but I didn't provide an email. It's gonna be caught user not found exception. It's gonna throw user not found exception, right? But it's gonna be handled by our exception handler method. Oh, this one cannot retrieve. Did I make something wrong? Model attribute. This error message error. Oh, it has to be request mapping method, but this one is not a request mapping method. The error.jsp here channel is not a request mapping, so it cannot find. But if we go to the success, let me copy, okay? I also not, I don't use that quite often, but unfortunately, I was thinking in the global controller, if I put it here, in the global controller device, if I have a mode attribute here, in the error page, it can still get it. Unfortunately, it cannot get, because it's not inside the request mapping, okay? You can get it in the request mapping, but this one is not a request mapping method, so it won't add into this model. But in my success page, in our error page, you can get it, okay? So let me redeploy and one more time. Okay, clear. Go back to the page. I will go to the add. Okay, you will see this is the form page, and I add everything successful. I will select the smaller size page, image. Add. You will see this channel name is here. Okay, if I go to get and give an email equals something, okay, it will forward to the success page. This is forwarded to the success page. You can also get this misxing. So this is the second usage of the controller device, which you can add a global attribute and also exception handler. There's another one called the init binder. Okay, you can also add the init binder to suppress the fields you want the user combined to the controller. Okay, but I don't want to show you. I probably will provide another video just to show you the init binder, how to use that. Okay, so let me summarize. In this video, we learned about the response status, which is to customize the status code and the message, which are reason displayed on the page. And next one, we learned about exception handler method. Okay, you annotate with exception handling for handle particular exception or handle for general exception. Then here you can display a user-friendly error page. But if this exception handler annotated method is in particular controller, it can only handle the exception through by that controller. If the controller invoke the repository or invoke the service, and in the service or repository that throw this exception, it can also be handled, but cannot handle the exception thrown by another controller class. If you want this exception handler method handle exception thrown by all the controller, you should have another class annotate with the ControllerAdvice. Then everything gonna be global. Okay, that's it for this video. If you still have a doubt, you can leave a comment, and see you next time. Bye bye.